So your onboarding costs, you guys just went through a bunch of hiring, right? How long until you get a return on your onboarding investment? What's your break even? So you expect people to come on, go through training, they're fully qualified at this point. What's that total cost? We're not talking about just when you bring them on, the full training burden to include equipment or if you have equipment costs or whatever, just you guys figure out what that looks for you, but we want to where they're fully trained. Then you look at, okay, what's our break even analysis for the amount of time that they have to spend off of our projected profit that's going to then reimburse the company for the time and energy you had to spend onboarding, training, getting them ready to where now they're at a net positive, right? We want break even analysis paid for that. That is my recommendation that you have that number figured out. Doesn't need to be immediately, but it needs to be something you're shooting towards. So when conversations about hiring is happening, you're not just looking at the here's how much revenue they're going to be making. No, no, no. How much are we actually investing in time, total cost to bring these folks on? And now we can start treating them as a profit center at that point rather than a net expense, which most people are for X number of months until they're able to hit that point. So the reason that I want you guys to know that there's a couple reasons on it, but the main reason is that hiring should be the scariest thing that you do. Like that should invoke fear in the entire group. Yes, we want that, but we want that to be the case. We have to hire crap. Okay. I mean, not just because we're worried about the quality standard, which is obviously what everyone's thinking about. What is our total investment that we're making in somebody we don't know? And good Lord, this could be 9 months before we get a full return on investment, whatever it is. And that's what I want you guys to have that number. So you are as cautious as possible, but also then you have to be able to justify in those positions because, again, as I mentioned, here's what the cost to bring them on. And if they're in a non-revenue producing, they're in an overhead position, like your assistant. So across the board, everybody now has to the amount that they have to produce is going to have to go up. You have to increase throughput, or or whatever that it has to be in order to absorb that on top of how much it costs to get them up to speed. Okay. That's that magic math because when you are spending time on this, what is he not doing? All of a sudden, you're one of your revenue centers dropping. So on that calculation, if he's got to spend 4 hours per, I don't know what it is, but whatever, 4 hours on training for anybody that's coming in or whatever, how much is he not producing now? So that's why I wanted you to start with measuring. So next year at this time, they're kicking out this amount of profit for you that then you can make capital decisions on, right? For everything else. But we want that level to be able to come to you guys. I'm just going to throw a number out here, but it's around for entry level right now, standard from the math that I've had a couple other folks do, about 10 grand, about the number it seems to be landing at. I know this is across different industries, but about 10 grand is your investment to bring somebody on fully trained. And again, not hired, fully trained. It's helping them make some better decisions is really at the end of the day. On the operations piece, they're looking at operations support and saying, I do not need the computers with all these bells and whistles. We can cut some money out of there. Okay, let's look at your training here because your scheduling is not effective. And this person sat for 4 hours when they're assigned. You get to really start getting the scalpel out on the folks that are your support side in a negotiating way to help them get more effective. Because guess whose responsibility it is to get that onboarding cost down? Operations support.